It's easy to grab attention if you're Coca-Cola, Nike, or Apple. But how do you grab attention if you're AMD?
I do find storytelling to be very important. For us, it really starts with a product.
How do you actually want such a serious story, funny and entertaining, for someone who's not engineering?
We are not close to that yet.
What would be the advice for universal storytelling principles?
It's always the same thing.
Watch and get inspired. How does AMD tell the stories to their consumers? So my today's guest leads global consumer marketing at AMD, one of the world's most innovative semiconductor companies, with experience spanning with high-stakes product launches, brand strategy, and tech-driven storytelling. He rose to high ranks of marketing from the engineering start. Sasha, welcome to my podcast.
Pleasure, great to be here, and seeing you, it's a privilege being here.
Oh, thank you so much. Tell us a little bit, let's kick it off within AMD. Tell us a little bit more about your company and what you guys do.
Yeah, so AMD is a company 55 years in making. We are really a product company. Obviously, we have sales, marketing, and all the other departments that a regular company would have. But in essence, we are a product company. We are an engineering company that builds high-performance computing processor and graphics cards. And we are in the segments that are really driving the user experiences around the world. In the past, if I can say in the past, we have been focused on specialized hardware for different segments, but as that grew, we are basically delivering the most amazing experiences on our platforms when it comes to gaming, consumer products, artificial intelligence, content creation, and so on. But in essence, it is the high performance computing that we are after, and enabling people to not only experience, but also to develop and build on our products.
So would you say that AMD is in the business of producing high performance gear or in providing the experience for its end consumers?
I see it as a canvas for the developers to paint on, and then for the users to experience it and consume it. So I would say we are the enablers of the great experiences.
So would you say that the AMD is in the business of producing high-tech gear or providing experience for its consumers?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of both. I think you need to be always staying ahead of the curve and producing great products that are going to be enabling those experiences. So when I think about what our product is, it is a mix of great hardware and software that you can start building on it, and really working with the application developers, whether the application is a game, a piece of content creation software, or an AI application, to really bring through those applications great experiences for the end user.
I love it. The topic that I'm working on in this podcast is storytelling and how it actually creates a new value for the businesses and for the entire stakeholders within the value chain. How do you guys craft storytelling in such a high-tech environment?
You know, when I look at the storytelling as such, I think about how we are creating emotional connection with our audience, or with people who are going to be using the products. And storytelling has been around for centuries, and we are used to educate others and so on by passing on the story from one generation to the next, and from learning from those stories, and building trust with the audience. So if somebody has gone through something, you are going to be able to learn from it and get that value add that you mentioned originally. So I do find storytelling to be very important, but it is one piece of information that we are translating, or one way to tell the story to the end users, to communicate the messages that you want to communicate. But it is to make that both a logical and emotional connection. I find it a part of the bigger marketing mix. As I said at the beginning, our product is both software and hardware. And when it comes to marketing, I usually start with 5 P's. It could be 4, it could be 7 P's, but it's really about the product, about the price, promotion, placement, partners, and then you can add on top of that process and people. And people are going to be very important in that mix as well. But for us, it really starts with the product. There's nothing that can replace great product experience. And then you need to find a way how and where in that customer journey people are. I think it on the scale, it moves from being very tech advanced, talking to the tech enthusiasts at first and the early adopters, going to that early majority, late majority, and laggards in the end. And in that scale, I think it also goes from being very logical to being going from logical to emotional. As at the beginning, the people who are buying your product, they are going to want to know what it is, how it works, what are the specs, and so on. But then once you establish that trust, then also you are establishing that emotional connection as well.
I love it. Yeah, I was recently listening to the conversation between Alex Hormuzzi and Cody Sanchez, and both are very vocal about how do you build the lead funnel, how do you actually make the sale, how do you close deals, obviously both from their own perspectives. And one of the things that really stuck with me is Alex Hormuzzi is saying actually that we all talk about different things in the way that we create the lead magnets and how do we attract and how do we actually sell, but it all starts with a product. In case you don't have a good product, everything else falls. And so with you guys, you obviously have a great product. I know you're improving all the time. How do you tell stories internally when you're innovating, when you're bringing new products? How you actually create that buy-in from your internal teams?
Well, usually the answer that we need to, the question that we need to answer is, what is this product built for? And how is it going to be used? And if it starts with that end goal, what is it going to be for? It's easy to answer many of these questions. So if you want it to be for, let's say, gaming, you're building it to be for 4K resolutions that is going to have great responsiveness, that is going to have very good visual quality and so on. And you start from some of those basics. This is what we want to accomplish. And then you tell the stories of what the product is going to be capable of and what is really going to be resonating with the audience that the product is built for. I wouldn't call it a target audience, because it's almost like you are trying to be a little bit deceiving towards them to say, well, we built it for so we can sell it like this. I don't think that's the purpose. You build it for something, for the challenge or the problem that you need to address in the market, something that you need to solve for. And I think the audiences recognize that, and then they get attracted to it. But there's always a problem that you need to solve. And this is what we are really good at, engineering that is going to be purposeful and be resolving a challenge that we have in the market.
So you're actually saying that you guys are starting from the market, looking at what are the problems out there, bringing it home, and then developing those solutions.
Yes, you can say it that way, yeah.
Yeah. And then creating the buy-in with internal stakeholders is, I would say, and please tell me if you think differently, one of the crucial success factors for any sales, any launch, any start.
Well, early on in my career, I was telling somebody that a product, as much as it is about the innovation and being ahead of its time and everything, it's a compromise between the desires and the realities. And the compromise in this case is not a bad word, because if you make something that is going to be incredibly powerful and be all to everybody, that means that the product is going to be extremely power hungry as well, and it's not going to be solving all the problems.
What do you mean by power hungry?
Well, when we think about, or when I think about the processors, I think about them as how do we mimic the world's most sophisticated processor and build it in a chip. And the world's most sophisticated processor is our brain. Our brain is capable of, or some people say it's, I believe, about 5. Is it? No, it's 1 exaflop, and its response time is less than 10 milliseconds. And then you have the power consumption that is less than 20 watts, or let's say 100 watts. So you can be scanning the room and you're seeing all these colors, people, movements, everything that's going on, and responding to it very quickly and consuming less than 1 light bulb. So to get to that point, it's incredibly hard to mimic that in the processor. So once we get to that point, it is going to be very, very impressive, but we are not nearly close to that yet. We are rapidly approaching it. But as you see with artificial intelligence, there's a lot of concern with power consumption, and even companies investing in nuclear power in order to secure electricity that is going to be needed to power the chips, right? So we are thinking about all these elements of how do you reduce the lag time, how do you improve the connectivity, how do you do all of this in order to fit within a certain. That's why I'm saying a compromise, which is not a bad word, to deliver those great user experiences. And from the engineering side, it's a very complex solution to where we need to get to. But I think at a certain point in time, we are going to get to having infinite power to be working on all these solutions we want to have.
Scary for some, yeah. I love what you and how you talked about the product. And again, coming from engineering background and working in marketing for last more than a decade, is just an amazing mix of 2 very different disciplines. Now, being in such a serious business, in production of semiconductors and actually building a brand, how do you tell stories that actually create an interest and become not necessarily funny, but interesting and entertaining and engaging with your audience?
Yeah, and I think those stories do change. When you come to present to the audience of engineers and developers, they want it to be a very serious story. If you start telling them very superficial, high-level stories, you are going to lose the audience. So I think it always starts with who are you talking to and how they are going to receive the information that you are trying to communicate. So I think the stories can be funny, they can be entertaining, but they can also be very serious. They can be very detail oriented, very specific. It does depend on who you are talking to.
How do you actually want such a serious story, funny and entertaining for someone who's not engineer?
It is a very good question. I think it comes down to their care abouts. What do they care about? If you're talking to the consumers, they are going to want to know that the laptop that they have in their hand is going to be enabling them to be off the power for at least 8 hours. That is going to be delivering, for example, performance to do what they need to do during the day, whether they are gamers or content creators or just using it for reading emails, scrolling on YouTube and so on. And you tell it in a way that how is this going to make their life better, or how is it going to deliver on their needs, on their expectations. And there's always that thing between the expectations and what you are delivering. So you need to match these two.
Now I have another interesting layer to add to that. You guys are a global brand. The cultures and the consumer habits are different across different markets. How do you actually make that global story local and relevant across different cultures and different users?
I think over the past, I don't know how many years, it was that you'll be telling everybody your story, and it will start to resonate with these different audiences. But we are seeing that culture, that trend is being a little bit more specific now. So if you're talking to the gaming audience, you need to have a channel for gamers. If you're talking to the consumer audience, you need to have a channel for consumers. So when you think about the social media, in the past, you would have one channel and you would broadcast, or you would engage with the audiences. Now, more and more, I'm seeing that you need to be talking to the audiences that have that specific desire, and you are talking to them. The gamer is not going to care about data center. The data center people are not going to care about consumer products. Not care, but 80%, and how I'm thinking about it is 80-20 rule, that 80% of their interest is going to be in what they are specialized in or what their interest is. And 20%, it's nice to know that, yes, you are powering the world's most powerful supercomputer, or that you are powering the Mars rover and so on. But when you're buying a laptop, you want a laptop that is going to give you that productivity with all-day battery life and so on, and some of those attributes that you care about.
So embedding 80% of the consumer interest, of the target audience interest, together with 20% of, say, extra content could be a good formula.
It's all connected, because you're building with our products, we are building the whole ecosystem. When we think about the developments that we have in data center AI, and the training that we are enabling, the inference and where the inference is going, that one is also going to be used or leveraged in consumer devices. Think about ChatGPT and what you have with that one, or DeepSeek and so on, and how that applies to Copilot on your laptop. The experience is connected, although the application may be different. So there is a connection, but definitely you need to be speaking the language of the person that is going to be looking to find that solution for the problem or the challenge that they have.
Yeah. I think problem solving is at the core, together with the product. What is it about? And then solving the problem, and then understanding how do you convey the message is the key. I have another interesting question which didn't come to my mind before, but now you got me inspired. So we're now living in a social media time, very fragmented attention spans, very rich and very a big number of touch points that we can speak to consumers and our customers and tell the stories. It is thanks to all the technological and the digital revolution that we're, I want to say, being blessed to live in. But what I'm interested in, so how did AMD start their marketing 30 years ago? What were the channels? What were the ways that you guys were telling the stories in the beginning when the entire existing ecosystem did not exist?
Yeah, I guess it was a very different world 30 years ago, and most of it was offline, right? I started in '96, and at that time, email was still a novelty, or internet browsing. I have a Gmail address that is still my last name at Gmail, right? And it was that you would join Google by invite. That's how we were doing that. And the majority of the marketing was you go to the store and you do the point of sale marketing. So you would be talking to the salesperson, or you would be learning about the product from that marketing, and then obviously either TV or radio that were very much so. And that started evolving and being more online, where you go there on Google and you look for information and you educate yourself, and then over time, search engine marketing, how the ads were placed to you, and so on, to the point where it became now the social media or community building online. And depending on the country, you still have a healthy mix of offline versus online marketing activities. But I think it starts with that funnel where you're building awareness with the audiences. And after awareness, the key thing to build is trust. Without the trust, you are not going to have customers. And that's a little bit of that discussion that we had originally about storytelling, is that if people don't trust you, they're not going to buy you. As simple as that. If you have a product that is incredible price, but there's no trust, you're going to say, oh, it's a scam. I don't believe it, right?
Yeah.
And no matter how cheap it is, you're not going to buy it because you think, oh, what's the hook? Why is it so cheap? No matter how expensive the product is, but if it's from a trustworthy company or product, you're going to say there's value add. So that trust goes a long way. But the funnel goes, you're reaching a lot of audiences, you're building trust with them, they consider purchasing the product, then they compare it to the previous generation or to the competition or both, and then they make their decision. And based on their experience in the product, you are going to have either loyalty or regret. Hopefully loyalty.
Hopefully loyalty. How does someone build that trust in 30 seconds in the elevator pitch?
It's hard. I think some of the studies that we have seen or that are popular in the market, you need to reach a customer between 10 and 20 times before they start getting interest and starting to trust you or being open to what you're going to say. But if the question is more on the startups, I would say there's that 300 rule. So you give them in 3 seconds an idea of what the product is about, and they are going to want to know more. And then in 30 seconds, you explain a little bit more. And then in 300 seconds, you tell them the full story. So it has to start with a bite-sized information to gain interest, to gain desire for them to hear more. The point of Nike, just do it, right? In 3 seconds, you're saying, oh, what should I do? And then you get an opportunity to say more.
Yeah. However, Nike did invest a lot of money, a lot of time and effort in order to get to the point where the just do it works for them in the manner that you're talking.
Yeah. Great brands are built over time, not instantaneously.
Yeah. So obviously, with your rich experience, what would be the advice for universal storytelling principles that a modern CPG brand, which is totally out of your wheelhouse, could use as a principle to build the effective communication and grow their brands?
For me, it's always the same thing, telling the truth. If you tell the product truths, if you tell those fundamental truths about the product, you are going to be successful. Because over time, people are going to figure it out, right? There's so much information out there. There are so many experiences that that is going to be really confirmed in the market by people using it and so on. But if you are truthful to what the product is intended to do and what it was built to do, even when you have challenges with the product, communicating those challenges is much better than not being honest about it. So always see what your product was built to do, but do tell the truthful story. And people will appreciate it. They're going to like you. They're going to trust you for it. And you're going to be better off long term if you tell the truth. Always that.
You reminded me of one of the slogans, of the slogan that one of the marketing agency here has, a truth well told, which is a really nice, that initial...
I believe the truth is the best value add.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
There's nothing like it.
And then again, from a different angle, with all the experience that you have as a professional and you guys as such a big organization, what would be the advice for the startups on how to build and how to deliver that elevator pitch that would open doors for either investor or a new customer?
Yeah, I would start with the problem that their service, their solution is trying to provide. And if that problem is well understood, but really well understood, that the solution is the only possible solution in the market, right? And if they don't understand the problem in its core, it's going to be even more complicated to tell what the solution is. So I think it is about the fundamentals and telling those or communicating those fundamentals to their audience.
Who shaped your perspective on brand storytelling? Not necessarily a person. I'm just thinking about broad ways. Again, coming back to such an interesting career and one academic background that built on the career, that had a transition at one point to marketing and demand creation and brand building. Who or what was one of the crucial moments in your career that shaped the way that you understand or storytelling?
I think as you're going on that journey in life or acquiring knowledge, it is really an evolution, and every day you can learn something new. So I'm not sure if I had the eureka moment to say, "Oh no, this is now now I have seen the light." It was more applying the knowledge that you acquire throughout the time, and then putting it into the system and going sometimes through trial and errors, or seeing how somebody has done it better, or being innovative and doing it differently yourself and figuring things out. So obviously all the other successful companies, products, and so on, you learn from them, and then you also try to set some new standards yourself for how things should be done. I think learning is a lifelong project and a journey, and hopefully 5 years from now I'm going to be smarter than what I am today and smarter than 5 years ago. So I think it is a development.
Thank you. What is your favorite household brand?
Yeah, so I was thinking about that. There are many products that are going to be delivering on two key things. And to me, it's always about form as well as function. And if the product doesn't have the function, the form is probably not ever going to compensate for that. And we have seen many brands, many products deliver on one or the other. When you have both equally, I think it's a well-balanced product, and this is where the form then builds and creates that loyalty or affection towards it. I'll give you a couple of examples that I think are good examples of what I'm talking about. If you think about the speakers, for example, Bang & Olufsen versus Sonos. Bang & Olufsen had an incredible function and incredible design. And they have created a great brand that is desirable, that has a premium based on their design and specificity of the designs, the differentiation in the market, and so on. But then, did they keep up well with the times? And when the Wi-Fi and all the speakers that are going to be connected in your home start becoming available, Sonos started making very easy, very convenient for people, and people like convenience. And connecting Bang & Olufsen was not as easy and intuitive as it was for Sonos. So I think a lot of the home devices became or transitioned into Sonos because of that. And you see that they grabbed a significant portion of that market share. Not that Bang & Olufsen was a market leader in terms of the volume, but it was in terms of the mind share if you thought about the premium device. And now you see Sonos having that premium value for their devices because of the sound quality, design, and all, but also because of the community. So for me, another good household name, if we are just talking about household within your home, would be Miele, because of their design, about what they do, like how well the products work. But there are many good.
So for you, Bang Olufsen or Miele? Or Soros?
Or Sonos. Well, I have both wireless speakers.
I need one.
At home. I would say Sonos for convenience, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and for keeping up with the applications,
Yeah.
with user experience, with upgradability, and so on.
Sonos. Okay. Sasha, thank you for the end. Do you have any questions for me?
What is the story that you are trying to tell?
Well, thank you. So I'm actually on a mission of expanding the brand as a business concept outside of CPG world, because I think CPG, being such a traditional industry, starting in early 60s, I want to say, in the US, and then reaching its peak, or probably even now in some South Asian markets, is a really strong business concept itself, brand being a business concept. I think it can be, and the language that you're using is, I think, proving that it can be transferred to different industries and different businesses. And then within the brand building, what I realized is that how we tell stories is extremely important. All the words that you mentioned, the product, the trust, the credibility, the emotion, are very important in the way that we tell stories. And the story that I'm trying to tell is actually bringing all those concepts to the entrepreneurs so they can tell their stories more effectively and more successfully.
Yeah, that's a very noble goal, as we all stand on the shoulders of the others and those who came before us, in order to get to the next step.
Thank you.